go. We're gonna watch the other round now, which is Patriots versus Backstab.
All right.
Oh man.
Yes.
You know I love this bowler.
We've got some interesting decks. We've got giant. Man, actually, now that I think about it, do we have giant poison in the top 4?
I don't think there's a giant poison deck in the top 4. So let's write down real quick. So Star Wars had.
He had a hog poison.
He had hog. Yeah, the hog poison deck. We know that Vizard has a 3 Musketeers deck.
3 Muskie and a hog cycle.
Right, 3 Muskie hog cycle. So I'm right now. These are the decks that will be in the Reddit post. The ones you just saw will be in the Reddit post. These next ones we're going to see come to. Patriots is running.
He's running crossbow, and I think he's running the hog rocket. He's running crossbow lightning and hog rocket, I believe.
Yeah, you're right. Expo lightning, hog rocket. I think we'll see that here in a second, I guess. Backstab is running giant bowler, and we'll see what the other deck is. I don't actually remember the other one on the top of my head, but here we go. Okay, so we take a look here. We've got. I'm gonna put the bowler up there, faux show for Mr. Backstab, and blue. What do we want to put here? Oh, Expo for sure. All right, so who do you think? These are very different decks. Who do you think you're gonna favor in this matchup? I kind of think the bowler deck's got an advantage here, right? Because the giant can be placed in front of the Expo. And of course, the bowler, besides being lightning resistant, is a pretty good damage soak and long range attacker against the Expo. I kind of think Backstab's got the deck advantage at least.
Yeah, in my mind, Backstab. Well, you know, I'm gonna say Patriots because I imagine a situation where Backstab will play his expensive 5 and 6 cards, and then Patriots will cycle to another crossbow before Backstab can actually play a card to defend it. I think that's going to be really the key interaction here for Patriots is cycling his crossbow. So it's not the first crossbow that'll do the damage. It's the one after Backstab has played all his expensive cards and has no more elixir. Or he's played all his cheap cards and doesn't quite have enough elixir for the body blocking, and the crossbow will tag onto the tower and probably give Patriots a win.
All right, let's take a look. Let's see. What I really want to see more than anything is some excellent log play. Log is a card that I think is so fringe good. Like, it's not bad. It's got the right cost. It does the right amount of damage, and it just sort of needs the right deck and whatever that is there, right? That allows it to live.
Absolutely. And I see Risk for Life before asked the question, says, what do you think is the most underrated card right now? I don't know about most underrated, but I definitely think Log is up there.
Yeah, Log's definitely up there. Knight might be up there. It was one of those cards that like no one really ever talks about, but it's solid. It finds a lot of use in play.
Yeah.
That's a good question. What is underrated?
Yeah.
You can't say Expo anymore. I think it's crazy how good Expo's been in these tournaments, but no, it's just no one's been playing it. Like there hasn't been a balance update since June, right? So like it's been this good for a while, but it's only taken the last few weeks for people to really notice it.
This is really the idea of like sometimes it's just the meta that dictates what's played.
Sure.
When Royal Giant and people were just not playing the same cards, right? They were not experimenting with the same decks. Crossbow may not have been good in that scenario. It just didn't really fit the game at the time.
A little far back for that giant. I wonder if this was on purpose, if he wants the bowler to be the distraction, right, for the Inferno Tower. Oh, I like that. Ooh, wow. Princess goes down. The miner comes up in front, though, to help block.
So this is what I'm talking about, cycle. If you cycle fast enough, you won't have enough elixir to play a giant. We'll see. He's definitely not going to be able to play the bowler.
Sure.
This is where I think Patriots needs to take his advantage. He needs to cycle.
Whoop. And now here comes the Expo. Oh, you're right. Backstab has barely anything to play. He doesn't have the giant in order to block the Expo, so now his Expo is going to go wild on him.
Yeah,
and that one elixir, and that's a great way to keep the elixir advantage on Patriots' side. Wow.
Oh, my God.
So really, Backstab's fatal flaw there was like trying to push. Like I think when you're against an Expo deck, even if you think you're a beatdown deck, the Expo deck is the beatdown deck. You know what I mean? Like they are trying to set up the thing that you can't stop.
Yeah.
So you need to quit being so aggressive and instead play a little more reactive and wait for the Expo to come out.
That's not a building chaser. Well, I guess it does tag on, but ideally you would have liked it probably
maybe a little closer. I see what you're saying. Yeah, it was maybe one square too far away. And you see, that's maybe not the greatest use of a lightning versus elixir collector, but in a way you could sort of look at it as an even trade. You take 6 pumps off of the 7, and you spent 6 for it.
Yeah.
And do a significant amount of damage to the tower.
Interesting crossbow placement.
What's Backstab? Okay. He's using it defensively because I think what that allows him to do.
He just wants a lightning at the end.
Well, no, he wants to cycle, and he could lightning at the end. The other option is you can actually set up a second Expo using the defensive Expo to guard for your second Expo, right? And he's got a really good cycle, so it seems kind of reasonable he could pull that off.
Yeah. So again, we're kind of, and I think at double elixir it gets a little bit better for Backstab, but you have to think about, you need to recover 5 elixir before you play one of your big takey troops to block the Expo.
Uh-oh, here comes the log down. Again, I love that the log is going to take out that princess and do a decent amount of damage to the tower. Log does the exact same amount of damage as arrows.
Oh my god, double lasers.
Whoa!
Man, Patriots.
Patriots wins game 1. Unfortunately, the bowler deck loses, but fortunately, the Expo deck wins.
Yeah,
a lot of really
win-win.
cool decks. I mean, I love it. I love watching week after week the meta evolve and change. I think that's such a good, healthy thing for Clash Royale tournament scene, for people to try out and experiment with new and different cards. So here we go. We're going to the second game. Patriots has to switch decks, switches to the incredibly defensive minor decks that we've talked about. So many good defensive tools in Patriots list. Backstab sticks with the bowler deck, so let's go ahead and switch Patriots from red to... Let's actually call out that Inferno Tower again. This is really going to come down to, can Backstab be creative enough with his pushes to get around that Inferno Tower? Because really, Patriots deck doesn't attack so much as just loosely grind out wins on the back of minor and poison. If Backstab can put together one big giant bowler push that doesn't just totally flub to the Inferno Tower, I think he pulls this game out.
Yeah. The question is, for I think really it comes down to how many cards does Backstab want to commit to offense, right?
Right.
And I think if Patriots has this ability to counterattack really easily, then that's going to earn him a really big opening here. But otherwise, I'm pretty sure that unless something dramatic happens, the flow of the game is going to be just minor chippy damage, while Patriots spends most of his time defending against these big slow pushes.
Backstab has all the tools to get through this game, right? He has Princess to outrange the Inferno Tower. He's got Bowler to long range kind of shoot it, or maybe even stand in front of the giant. You've got guards to gum it up with a lot of small troops, and you've got Zap to reset it. So everything is in Backstab's favor if he can, you know, sequence these cards and save up the elixir in order to pull it off. Ooh,
nice.
Clash Wars and chat's rooting for Patriots.
Patriots. He's definitely a good
Backstab.
player.
Now, is this the Backstab that plays Hearthstone? Is my question. We've had some mistaken identities in the past, but I do know that the Backstab who plays Hearthstone is also a Clash Royale player.
Huh. Well,
and if you're a good player, you would come to the Super Magical Cup.
Does he play Hearthstone for Hammers Esports? Oh,
that's a good question.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe you could just send us a message on Discord or something.
Sanders asks how much time is left in the tournament. We are in the second of the top 4 rounds, so as soon as this is over, this is game 2. We might go to a game 3. We will then move on to the finals after that. So I would say at most, 4 more games, 5 more games?
Yeah. Yep. Minor onto the collector. Nice. And the bowler finally makes it. It's doing damage to the tower.
Once, swinging twice. Eat, sleep, bowl, repeat.
Nice. Eat, sleep, bowl, repeat.
If this is your first time watching the Super Magical Cup live, we normally run from about noon Pacific to 3 p.m. Pacific. So that's 3 to 6 Eastern. If you're in Europe or Asia, I don't know. It's a lot different time. But yeah, so it's coming up. It's about 2:40 right now Pacific time. So there's maybe about 20 minutes left in the broadcast. And so far, these decks have been just as nuts as last week, honestly.
Absolutely.
I mean, Expo is still around. Bowler is still making top 4 appearances, which is great.
Inferno Tower gets committed early. There ain't no giant, nor is there a bowler on the table.
Oh, Backstab is not the Hearthstone Backstab, he says in chat.
He's somebody else. No, I don't play Hearthstone.
All right. Now, once again, we talked about this earlier. Princess, you play the Inferno Tower early. You're telegraphing that Inferno Tower pretty early. The Princess is there to start shooting. I feel like the Princess could have been played a little closer to the river in order to be outside of poison range, but then you would have been vulnerable to something like an Ice Wizard at the river shooting across. Oh, no,
God.
Double lasers. See you later, alligator. To that giant. I don't think that giant's gonna be able to push through in time.
Yeah, it's kind of.
Oh yeah, look at that. That last. Oh my God, that last chunk of damage.
It just takes away such a huge chunk.
And honestly, it's not just the Inferno Tower. It's all of the other tools that Patriots deck has to enhance the Inferno Tower.
Absolutely.
Zap, guards, Ice Wizard, all complement the Inferno Tower very well on defense. And
Really
maybe that's
great.
why Lightning's so popular.
Yeah, I think so too. Patriots34 defending his 2 elixir collectors very, very well. and slowly swinging in his favor. He's finally putting up a counter push now.
Oh no! And the bowler, we show one of the weaknesses.
Oh,
of
the
bowler,
mini Pekka!
unfortunately.
Oh my
Oh
God!
Oh wow! Got one swing. We see one of the weaknesses of bowler though. Bowler shoots only in a straight line to the direction he's facing, and one of the best ways to counter bowlers is to put things on different opposite sides of them to minimize the effectiveness of the splash damage.
Patriots
right?
has done it.
Takes it
Poison,
home.
zap, minor. It's about Patriots.
And you know
he threw down the gauntlet at the start of the broadcast. Said it's
Did
me.
he? He said, "I'm gonna win." Oh,
he said,
wow.
"I'm gonna win." And Patriots, you can confirm that for me in the chat. But he was just like, "This tournament's mine to take," and that confidence. You know, I talked to him before. He usually tunes into whatever I do, open qualifier
Oh
broadcasts
yeah,
or
we
whatnot.
do qualifiers now. We're starting to broadcast more, so we're starting to broadcast our weekly qualifiers on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, and of course we've got Fun Day Friday streams on Friday as well. So what you see him in the qualifiers? What'd you pick up from that?
You know, the first time he tuned in, he was talking about. I think he was feeling like a little bit down. He was feeling a little bit upset. Like, oh man, like I really hope to show you guys how good I am at the game.
Okay.
And I told him, hey, you know what? Like the bracket format is very different than what you normally play in Clash Royale, and having 2 decks and submitting a decks and being smart about the decks you submit is really important too. And I think since then he's been kind of tuning in and kind of, you know, he's been trying, he's been working hard, he's been improving as a player. And slowly but surely, I mean, look at his performance today. 2 fantastic decks. I think decks that when I look at them, I think like this is a very comfortable deck. It's kind of like watching Woody, right? When you watch Woody, you see his decks and you're like, I have confidence in this.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
I feel like this is a very solid deck that gives him the tools that he needs to succeed in this tournament. And I feel like Patriots is doing that very well. But not to say that he's the only person left in this tournament.
Sure.